What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are back with yet another video of our series that we've been doing, talking about all 32 teams leading up until opening night on this very special day here, the remembering of 9/11. But, so yeah, let's get in. If you guys like these kinds of videos, remember, leave a like, subscribe, that notification bell, hit me up on Snapchat, add my socials in my bio. So let's get into this. Also, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the gaming channel, go give that a watch. I will leave a link to it, and it'll be somewhere. Not on the screen, it'll be in the comment section, or it'll be in the community tab. I forget where exactly it will be, but yeah, so go and go subscribe to that channel too, because your boy's over there. Also, today, we're going to be talking about the Buffalo Sabres, a team who every year, there's a few teams, and I believe, one of them that always gets off to a very hot start due to having guys that have like an impact on the team. Like, they always are off to a very hot these are some guys that always are having great. They're the reason why the Sabres have, like, J.J. Peterka, Jack Quinn, Tage Thompson, Alex Tuck, Kel Clegg, Henry Yokiharu, who else? Who's there? Jack Rathbone, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and a couple other guys. Those are the reasons why, like, 8 guys right there are the reasons why the Sabres always are off. Dylan Cousins, I don't know if I mentioned him, and Zach Benson are also reasons why the Sabres are really off to it. So it's 10 guys right there are the reasons why they are off to a really hot start every year. But they ended up with they had a decent season. I mean, at the deadline, they got Bowen Byram. Who I think that was a pretty good, pickup for them from the Colorado Avalanche. I don't think where they got him from. But yeah, last year, the end of the year, unfortunately, they did not make the playoffs again. But they were 39, 37, and 6 and had 84 points. I think they just had a really great start, a really good season. They've always had they're actually not, just because they have a guy, they have UPL or Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is a reason why I like the Sabres. I mean, I don't get to watch them that much every year, but when I do, it's because the Penguins are playing them. And they're either a pain in the neck because the Penguins, or they're just terrible and the Penguins just beat the crap out of them. But this year, so they added it, I think, in the offseason. I don't know if they added him in the offseason or what, but they got Nicholas Abe-Kubel. In the offseason, they added Sam Lafferty, former Penguin, Ryan McLeod, Cloud, I don't know, they added some really decent guys on their team this year. I mean, you gotta have guys now. They traded away years ago. If you guys haven't seen my stream where I talk about Jack Eichel, go give that a watch. They had this whole thing going on where they're like, oh yeah, so a while ago, they had Jack Eichel, and Jack Eichel was like, hey, I want this surgery. And the Sabres are like, Jack Eichel, hold on a minute. We're not going to give that to you. We'll find a team that does. He's like, okay, I want to be traded. So he ends up getting traded. And he goes to the Vegas Golden Knights. And he finally ends up winning his first Stanley Cup. And he ends up getting like a herniated disc or whatever it was. Some sort of surgery that he wanted. But yeah, so I mean, they added Jordan Greenway this offseason, I think. Or I forget how they added him. I mean, their team, if you guys go onto their roster and look at their squad, it looks like they have a really good team. I mean, they have a lot of young talent. Like, they added Jason Zucker, who Former Penguin. Jason Zucker, he was a free agent. He signed a year. He's 32, so I mean he's going into his 30. He'll be 33 in January of next year. So, but yeah, he's going into his 33-year-old season. He's getting younger. 2007. He'll only be 28. Turn 20. Wait, hold on. Bowen. No. He'll be 20. He's 23. Jacob Bryson? Is that his name? Yeah. He's 26. So he'll turn 27 in November. So he's only going into his 27-year-old season. Darlene, on the other hand, he's only 23. He's 24. He'll be 25. Some guys are old, like Yoki Haru, 2009, 2019. He'll only be 20. He's 25. Yeah, he's only 25. So it's going into his 25-year-old season. He'll be 21. This Komarov guy. Some Owen Powers only. He'll be 20. He'll be 22 in November. My God, he's my age. Jack Rathbone, he'll be 26 next year. A lot of these, they have a very young team. Even Jukka Pekka he'll be 20. He'll be 26 or 27. He'll be 23. Yeah, so they have like some very old guys, and they have some veteran talent and some young. They have some veterans on the squad, and it's either veterans, some are veterans, and some are very young or very old. I mean, it's a mixture of both. But like, who is their coach? Okay, so they hired this offseason. They hired Lindy Ruff. So, I mean, Lindy Ruff is he's gonna be okay. I don't mind the move for them. Their opener is the 10th against the Kings, and then they get the Penguin, the defending Stanley Cup champion, the Florida Panthers, and then they have a couple days off. Then they host the Penguins and the Blue Jackets. Then they host the Blackhawks. Then they host, they go to, wait, hold on. Let me see is that a home game? What is that? That is October 16th. Is that a Pens home game, or is that an away game for the Penguins? Let me see. Oh, that is a Penguins home game. Okay, so it's a Penguins home game. Oh, so it's a Sabres away game, but it's a Penguin. Okay, so Buffalo comes here. Then they go to Columbus. Then they go to Chicago. Then they host the Stars, the Red Wings. Then they host the Panthers again. And they play the Panthers again on the 28th. Okay. And then, but yeah, so like I said, this team, I'm interested to see I'm going to say this every single stinking video. I am interested to see how well this team does this year, going into the 24-25 season. I have a strong feeling that, like, they're going to start off pretty good, like they did last year. But then there's going to be some teams where, like, they're going to eventually, like the Sabres last year, they just absolutely fell off a cliff. They, like, fell off. And by the way, last year, by the end of, let me see. Let me find it. Hold on. by the time the Christmas break rolled around, they were 14, 17, and 4 was their record. So there was times the year like they were 7-6. They were 10, 14, and 2 in the first part of December. Yikes. They were, up until and then leading up until the All-Star break, they were 22, 23, and 4. And then after the All-Star break and the end at the deadline, which was by March 7th, they were 29, 30, and 5. And then at the end of the year, they ended at 39, 37, and 6. So they kind of started out hot, like they were 7-6 at one point, and then just after that they fell off. So they're usually like the first 14, 15 games are pretty good, and then after that usually they fall off. But hopefully this year, with a couple of new additions that are better, and they finally can make it into the playoffs. I want to see, when was the last time the Sabres were in the playoffs I want to see when that was. Was probably, let me see, Buffalo Sabres. The last time, they don't have a captain either, yikesies. Their last playoff appearance, they don't have any Stanley Cups either, was playoff appearances. Their last playoff appearance was in 2000 and the last time they were in the playoffs was 2011 when they lost the first round. They got eliminated in the first round. Let me see, 2011, 2010, and 2011. NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's see, 2011 Stanley Cup playoff bracket. Let me go down to the playoff bracket. They played Philadelphia, and they lost in 7. Okay, so they took on the Flyers, and they lost in 7. 2010 Stanley Cup playoff. Oh, final, that's not Stanley Cup playoffs. And then they made the playoffs back-to-back years in 2010, 2011. In 2010, they made the playoffs, and they lost in 6 to the Bruins. Okay. But that's okay. Because then I believe, who won the cup that year? It was 2010. I believe the Stanley Cup champion. Oh, the Stanley Cup champ was the Blackhawks. Okay. So that was the year the Blackhawks won it. Okay. But they haven't made the playoffs since 2011. It has been a 13-year drought. They've had a 13-year drought. 2011 was the last time they were in the playoffs. I want to see who was on that 2011 Sabres roster. Let me see who was on that team. Oh my god, it was probably dudes that I've heard of before. Okay, Luke Adam, never heard of him. Christian Ehrhoff, I've heard of him before he was on the Penguins. Marcus Foligno, I've heard of him. Zach Cassian, I've heard of him. Jason Pominville, Andrei Sekera. Mike Weber. Yeah. Who is their goalies? Ryan Miller, I've heard of him. Jonas Enroth. Okay. Yeah, so that was a pretty good team. And they're trying. They've been trying to rebuild for ever since then. But other than that, they have just not had any good success. And I'm hoping and praying every year. I kind of root for the Sabres near the end of the year. Just when we start knowing who's going to be in the playoffs and who's not. then I'm kind of like rooting for Buffalo. Please get in Buffalo. Please get in Buffalo. And they don't. They just disappoint me. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Because, like, I mean, I'm obviously still rooting for the Penguins, but, like, I'm also kind of, like, rooting to see the Buffalo Sabres get in. Because I want to see them get in. So, with the league, who knows? But, yeah, so that's it on this video. I could rant about these Sabres forever and ever, but I'm not. But yeah, so if you guys, also, by the way, so tomorrow we are going to, tomorrow we are going to talk about another team who I'm gonna have a little bit of, another team we're going to talk about another Canadian team tomorrow, and that is going to be the Ottawa Senators. And then Friday, we will talk about the Montreal Canadiens. But yeah, so, and then, let me see how I want to do this here. Do I want to start at the Blue Jackets and go up, or do I want to start the Rangers and go down? I kind of actually want to, Sunday, we'll probably start with the Rangers and work our way down. And then even into but yeah, then we'll be done with the East. I'm starting in the East because those are teams that I want to start with. But then after that, we will go into the West. And the one team I do kind of want to talk about, make probably a very long video about, is the Utah Hockey Club. But they'll definitely be a team we talk about here. They're also going to be a team that, like, I kind of want to watch them play this year a little bit too when the season starts. But that's for another, when we get there, I'll talk about them. But if you guys like these kinds of videos, remember, leave a like, subscribe to the notification bell, hit me up on Snapchat, add my socials in my bio, and I will see you guys all tomorrow for another video talking about the Ottawa Senators. Peace.